We're testing cranial nerve number 1, olfactory, which is sensory. So I'm going to go ahead and have my patient. Can you go ahead and close your eyes for me? I'm going to place some scents under your nose, and I want you to let me know what you smell. Can you go ahead and cover your right nostril?
Vanilla.
And then can you go ahead and cover your left?
Coffee.
Okay, so what I'm testing for is absence of smell or not able to identify the smell. We're going to be testing cranial nerve 2, which is optic, and it's sensory. So we're going to be using the Snellen eye chart. So can you go ahead and cover your right eye for me? Go ahead and read the lowest line you're able to.
D-E-F-P-O-T-E-C.
And then can you go ahead and cover your left? And then read that same line backwards.
C-E-T-O-P-F-E-D.
All right, so what we're testing for is the patient's visual acuity, and any abnormalities would be if they're unable to read the chart. Now we're going to go ahead and test peripheral vision. I want you to go ahead and look at my nose and let me know when you see the markers.
No.
Which one's moving?
That one. That one.
Go ahead and let me know when you see the top marker.
No.
And then the bottom.
No.
Which one's moving?
Bottom. Top.
Medial, can you go ahead and cover your right eye? And let me know when you see the marker.
No.
It's moving.
Yes.
Now go ahead and cover your other eye. Let me know when you see it.
No. Moving.
Good. Abnormalities would be any blind spots in their vision or if their peripheral vision is decreased. I'm going to be testing the patient's pupillary light reflex. I'm going to go ahead and shine a light in your eye. Cranial nerve 2, I'm testing for direct, and cranial nerve 3, I'm testing for consistent. Now I'm going to be testing cranial nerve 10 and 12. I'm going to go ahead and shine a light. Can you go ahead and stick out your tongue and say ah? 10, I'm looking to see if the uvula deviates toward the unaffected side, and cranial nerve 12, I'm looking to see if the tongue deviates toward the affected side. Continue testing cranial nerve 10. I'm going to go ahead and give the patient a cup of water and have them swallow. Is it okay if I place my hand on your throat? Abnormalities would be if their swallow was unsymmetrical, if they weren't able to do it in a timely manner, if they're coughing, or if they have hoarseness when they... Now we're going to test cranial nerves 3, 4, and 6, which are oculomotor, trochlear, and abducens. These are all motor. We're going to test cranial nerve 3. I'm looking for a smooth pursuit. I'm going to go ahead and have my patient follow my marker. We're going to go in an H pattern. I'm looking for any nystagmus, blurred vision, double vision, and I'm also monitoring for a droopy eye. Now we're going to go ahead and test convergence. So what I'm going to have you do is look at the tip of this marker, and I'm going to move it towards your face. I'm looking for equal tracking of the marker, and I'm also looking for pupil constriction. Saccades, so what I'm going to have you do is I'm going to hold both markers right here, and I'm going to say red and blue, and I want you to look at those markers. Red, blue, red, blue, red, blue. Good. Now we're going to go from top to bottom. Same thing. Red, blue, red, blue, red, blue. For this, I'm looking for any over or undershooting of the eyes. Now we're going to be testing cranial nerve 5, trigeminal. This is both motor and sensory, and now we're going to be testing the sensory portion of it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and touch you with this cotton ball like that, and I'm going to do it on different aspects of your face. So can you go ahead and close your eyes for me, and go ahead and say yes when you feel it?
Yes. 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 Yes.
Good. And for this, I'm looking for any diminished, altered, or absent response. With both the cotton balls, and I want you to let me know when they feel equal. Go ahead and close your eyes.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So now I was looking to make sure that both touches felt equal. Now we're going to go ahead and test sharp and dull sensation. So I'm going to go ahead and clean this, and then I'll go ahead and show you what it's going to feel like on your hand. This is sharp, and that's dull. Okay. Go ahead and close your eyes for me.
Sharp. Dull. Sharp. Sharp. Dull. 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 Sharp. Sharp. Dull. Dull.
Now we're going to go ahead and test the motor aspect of the trigeminal nerve. So what I'm going to do now is called a jaw jerk. So I'm going to go ahead and place my thumb right here on your chin. And I'm going to have you go ahead, relax your jaw, and close your eyes. All right, so I'm looking for a hyper, hypo, or diminished response. I'm going to palpate these muscles right here. Is it okay if I touch your face?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead and clench your jaw. Relax. Clench again. Okay, so I'm looking for any asymmetry or atrophy in those muscles. I'm going to go ahead and test the strength of your jaw muscles. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead and try to open. Good. Now open your mouth a little bit. Go ahead, try to close. Good. I was looking for any muscular weakness with opening and closing the jaw. Testing cranial nerve 7, which is facial. This is the motor aspect. I'm going to go ahead and ask my patient, can you go ahead and smile for me? Frown, puff out your cheeks. Close your eyes really, really tight, and go ahead and raise your eyebrows. Any abnormalities in this would be if the patient is unable to perform those movements or if there's asymmetry with those movements. I'm going to be testing cranial nerve 7, facial, the sensory portion. What I'm going to have my patient do is, can you go ahead and close your eyes for me and stick out your tongue? I want you to let me know if it's salt or sugar on your tongue.
Salt.
Okay, go ahead and keep your tongue out for me.
Sugar.
Good. I'm going to test the other side of the patient's tongue. Same thing.
Salt. Sugar.
Good. Any abnormalities would be if the patient is unable to identify between salt or sugar, or if they're just unable to taste at all. Testing cranial nerve 8, vestibulocochlear, and it is sensory. We're going to first test the hearing portion of it. This is called the Rustle test. Can you go ahead and close your eyes for me? Let me know point to which direction you hear it in. Good. Are they equal?
Yes.
Abnormalities would be if the patient is unable to hear at all or if one side is louder. We're going to do the Rinne test. So I'm going to go ahead and have my patient close their eyes again. I want you to let me know which one is louder. Number 1, number 2.
1.
Okay. Number 1, number 2.
2.
Abnormalities would be if the patient hears bone conduction louder than air conduction. Go ahead and do the Weber test. So I'm going to go ahead and have my patient close their eyes again. I'm going to place this on your forehead and let me know if you hear this equally.
Yes.
Good. Abnormalities would be if the patient does not hear it equally on both sides or if they don't hear it at all. We're going to be testing cranial nerve 8 with VOR. This is still for the vestibular system. Is it okay if I touch your face?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to have my patient look down. This is just putting the canals more in line. Can you go ahead and focus on my nose? And I'm just going to rotate your head back and forth. Just keeping that focus on my nose. Any abnormalities would be if they're unable to stay focused on my nose or if they have any nystagmus. Okay, now we're going to be testing the vestibular portion of cranial nerve 8. Is it okay if I stabilize your head? Okay, you can use my arm for stability. And on the count of 3, we're going to lay backwards. 1, 2, 3. So you want to make sure when you're bringing your patient down, your patient's head is in slight extension and slight rotation. And you want to instruct them, can you go ahead and keep your eyes open for me and just don't look at anything in particular. And we're looking for any dizziness, lightheadedness, loss of balance or unsteadiness when coming back up, any nystagmus, and a hard time concentrating or any nausea or vomiting. So it is ideal if we would have a trash can when coming back up from this test. All right, you can go ahead and come up. Are you okay?
Yes.
Good. Now we're going to be testing the other side. Is it okay if I stabilize your head again? All right, and you can use my arm for support. And on the count of 3, we'll go ahead and lay you back. 1, 2, 3. All right, you still want to instruct your patient to make sure they're keeping their eyes open throughout the entire test. You want them in slight extension and slight rotation. You also want to make sure that when laying your patient back, that their head and neck is completely off the table, so nothing's stopping them from getting that extension and rotation. You're still monitoring for any signs of nystagmus, any dizziness, any nausea and vomiting. And we're just going to hang here for a little bit longer. And all right, we'll go ahead and sit you back up. You want to make sure your patient is stable before taking your hands off of them. Are you okay?
Mm-hmm.
Good. So once again for this test, we're looking for any nystagmus, dizziness. You want to make sure that there's a trash can nearby just in case there is any nausea and vomiting. You also want to make sure that you're holding this test for a full minute, but for this purpose, we're only holding it for 30 seconds. All right, now we're going to go ahead and test cranial nerve 11, which is spinal accessory and motor. So I'm going to go ahead and have my patient. Can you go ahead and look to the right? All right, and then I'll let you come out of it just a little bit. And then go ahead and don't let me move you. Good. And we'll go to the other side, and we're making sure we're holding this for 5 seconds each. All right, go ahead, hold it, don't let me move you. Good. Now we're going to test the strength of the traps. Can you go ahead and raise your shoulders for me? All right, hold it, don't let me move you. For this, we're looking for any muscle weakness, atrophy, or asymmetry. Now we're going to test the reflex of the trap. So I'm going to go ahead and use this reflex hammer. Good. And we're looking for a hypo, hyper, or absent reflex.